So yeah, we've changed the Dacron so Dacron is the material we use in the leading edge, the struts, and in the wingtips. Not so much on this kite, this is the Apollo, this is actually a pretty lightweight kite. But all our other kites in the range have Dacron in the wingtips as well. The Dacron is pretty strong material. You need it to be strong because it holds air pressure. And what we've done, this has now got a high tenacity yarn. So running through it, high tenacity yarns, that means it's a yarn which is really strong and it has like good shear strength. It runs warp and weft, and what that gives us is the ability to control elongation and bias elongation especially, which is, I don't know how to, elongation of a material is you have, like say on a t-shirt, you can pull in one direction, so you'll have like say a warp and a weft, and bias is on a 45 degree. So that's what we call bias. And this material, using this high tenacity, gives us the ability to control all of that elongation. So the difference between old material and new material is now we can actually control the arc shape a lot more. We can give a true shape to a kite. When a kite's under heavy load, the high tenacity like yarns come into effect and it stops the kite from distorting through load. So it runs all the way through. What you're going to find on a kite, especially, so Switchblade for instance has got it this year, it didn't have it last year. The Apollo already had it, the Contra already had it, and the Chaos had it last year. But now we've run it through everything. And the feedback on the Switchblade has been really good. So a lot of people are saying the kite's all of a sudden like way crisper in feel. Like it's a lot more, like you feel more direct, you kind of feel it's responsive. It has an increased high-end range. So if you're riding on the upper limit of our wind range and what we recommend, you're going to find the kite stability has increased. There's no more, it doesn't buckle, it doesn't distort. When you turn a kite, pretty much when a kite turns, it twists. And the whole thing is going to twist around. When you twist the kite, it's going to spring back to that original position a lot quicker than it has done before. So what this Dacron is going to do, it's all material over time. It's a coated material, so the more you use anything which is coated, it's going to get softer and softer. The great thing with the high tenacity is that's going to hold its performance really well over long term. So you can see things, if you take a strut, for instance, and if you twist a strut, it springs instantly back to the original position. So that's a good example of what high tenacity Dacron does. Another thing we have now on all the kites except for the radar is we use pure profile panels. So this is something which our kite designer has developed and worked through. And what it does, it gives us the ability to control the profile of the kite across the whole center section. So it runs from the outer struts towards the middle, which is the most critical area for profile. If you didn't have it, you see a kite's made out of segments all the way through, and these segments are pretty large. If you just put the material across, you can control, it's probably going to get a bit too techy, you can control profile on each segment by how you stitch and cut material. But what that means is in the middle, you have no control over the profile, and the profile is the curve coming from it starts from the bottom of the leading edge around to where the canopy moves. So on a standard kite without pure profile, you can control it on every seam, but in the middle of this section, it's going to be flat. So what that is, that's basically a loss of performance. Your kite is not flying how you actually design it to be. So pure profile means we've split these panels into two. So we can actually now control the profile at every single seam in the front, which gives a really true kite. So you have a better performing kite. You have a kite which has a better high end. You don't have blowback and blow down on top of the canopy, because now you have a smooth profile throughout the whole kite. So it's a really unique feature, and it's added a lot of benefit to it, and a lot of performance to every single kite in our range. Yeah, and that's the main features of the kites.